A 79-year-old woman and an 86-year-old woman got in a fight. Why? One of the women took someone else's regular seat, and it got physical. Once the two women started brawling, other people at the retirement home decided to join in too. So this just went from two old ladies jumping over, fighting, which, by the way, 79 and 86 duking it out over their favorite seat. It turned into a full-on brawl. They had to call the cops out to break it up. No charges were filed. And for me, nursing home bingo night turns into an all-out brawl when two old ladies fight over their favorite seat. I just, I insert the images in my head. I see rockers, walkers, teeth flying through the air. Maybe that's cruel or mean of me, but I don't write these things. This is real life. These are all true stories. But a bingo night brawl when two women get into it. I got more for you. This is awesome. Headline: a game of Monopoly ends in a fight and a suspect on the run.
End up in jail, eating microwave hell, but
Good afternoon, Bryan College Station. Welcome to the Beliucci Hour lunch, live on Sports Radio 1150 The Zone, 102.7 FM. I'm your host, Ryan Brauninger. Can we pull that intro music down? There we go. Very good. I can hear myself now. I'm your host, Ryan Brauninger. We're here at the Tap on Harvey Road, as we are every Monday and Thursday. Checking out the Tap's great lunch menu, $8.49 burger basket, $8.49. I think chicken tenders today, the fries and a drink. I've got the blackened chicken up here. A lot of good stuff to eat on the menu here at the Tap. So if you need somewhere to come grab a bite for lunch, come check out the Tap's great lunch menu. There's a wide array of Texas country music acts coming up to the stage. Check the Tap website, tapbcs.com. A lot to get to today. We had an announcement of when spring football would start since our last show, and we'll talk about that. We've got a new offensive line coach, and I will give the front table some credit. It's not often, so you guys better listen. So I'm going to give you some credit. Last week they brought up a phone, and they said, is this the guy? Because they basically checked off all of Liucci's boxes that he had been saying all week. And I looked at it, and it was the right guy. They got it right, and I would want to give you guys credit for being able to read the cues. What is – while Billy and Ryan sweat the minutia, made a poster. The front table totally trusts Jimbo. You know what? Hey, y'all's continued begging for a sponsorship, and now with like y'all are on College Game Day, just bringing up. This could turn into the Jerry Springer show before 2 months longer. Thank you guys. That's pretty cool. I don't think that's the first poster we've ever had made for the Beliucci Hour. So, sponsored by Budweiser. They think. I don't know if I'm allowed to solicit y'all out of the front table. Anyway, so we have an offensive line coach. The front table did peg it. Joe Henson comes in from Oklahoma State. He was an offensive coordinator at Missouri with skins on the wall. And a great recruiter, another fantastic hire by Jimbo Fisher, as most of his hires have been, just flat-out home runs. So we'll get Billy's thoughts on the Aggies' new offensive line coach. They got Aggie baseball starting this Friday with their home opener series against Fordham. We had a lot of stuff, and I think the latest breaking news now that you're seeing on the TVs here at the Tap is that Kyler Murray, about 10 minutes ago, made this announcement via Twitter. Moving forward, I am firmly and fully committing my life and time to becoming an NFL quarterback. Forward to dedicating 100% of myself to being the best QB possible and winning NFL championships. I have started an extensive training program to further prepare myself for the upcoming NFL workouts and interviews. That I am the franchise QB in this draft. Very much written like Kyler Murray would write it, or 2015 quarterback saga that went on at A&M. Both of those guys will be on kind of a circuitous route for both of them, or not a circuitous, 180-degree different route for both of them. Obviously, Kyler transferring to Oklahoma, winning a Heisman Trophy, and putting his team in the playoff, and then Kyle Allen going to the University of Houston, where I don't know that he played that much, yet still got drafted. You want to talk about a kind of a juxtaposition between both of those guys and how their careers have played out up to this point. For me, Kyler's turning down a lot of guaranteed money with the Oakland A's, and I can see both sides of it. There's a better shot that he's going to play professional football quicker than he will professional baseball. But I still think the longevity of his career, but he didn't strike me as a guy that wanted to go ride in the bus leagues. Yeah, Billy, we've got a.
Is this like College Game Day?
Yeah, that's
now
what I said. Yeah, I said pretty sure it's gonna.
I love it. I love it. This is gonna.
They were making fun of the way I said minutia.
Minutia, not your nutia, but minutia.
Just your.
This is minutia we're talking about. Damn it.
I know. That's before long.
Well, where'd you come from? You come straight out of the.
I'm literally wearing the same thing.
Were you at the National Finals Rodeo this weekend?
No.
You were bull riding. Isn't that coming up in Vegas?
It's coming up in Texas.
Well, it's in Vegas too.
Aren't you? No, Vegas has already happened, I think.
Hey, yeah, I think it's during football. I don't know. I've never been.
Kyler's decision.
Yeah. Here's the deal, and I was just talking to one of my buddies at lunch, and my friend gave me permission to use it, and I said I don't disagree. So I'm using it because it was legit. I do think, and he's familiar with Kyler and his whole thing, I do think part of this is the last thing Kyler Murray is ever going to do is put himself in a position to be riding around on a double-A bus.
That's what I said.
For baseball, right? Knowing, here's the other thing, and you guys at the front table know this. His dad did that. His dad did that, for a while himself. And at the end of the day, there's the money in baseball, but he has to make it, go through that minor league transition, whether that's a few months or a couple years, and then to make that real money after this first contract, then you got to.
You're taking a bus from Biloxi to Birmingham at midnight or whatever the case may be. You don't want to have these lingering thoughts in the back of your mind that I could be.
I get it. I just think. Look, I guess I'm skeptical of how his game translates, and what they do is similar. But I just think there's
Cleveland
a couple.
Didn't let him do it.
Yeah, well, Johnny also didn't let himself do it. It was a combination.
Yeah.
Terrible situation for him. It was just really unfortunate for Johnny because right now, where he's at now, he could do it. And where Cleveland is now, he could have done it. Real coach, real system, more commitment, but Baker did it. Mahomes is doing it. Similar to Kyle. I mean, these guys they're coming out of similar systems that Kyle was in.
Yeah.
They're, Mahomes, I would not say is undersized. Baker is a little. Johnny was. You can point to Drew Brees. But these guys, here's a big difference between basically being 6 foot and being what I think is going to be fortunate. OU keeps banging the 5'10" drum. Unless the NFL lies, he's not going to be 5'10". If the NFL says he's 5'10", then I think they're deliberately fudging. I think they're deliberately fudging it. That is a big difference. And here's my other part about it. Kyler's the most accurate passer. Like, if he makes it, it's going to be because of that and because he's such a winner. But the difference, though, in some of I think those other guys have much stronger arms than Kyler does. And I don't know how that plays in the NFL. Can he get by because he's got a better than you'd think arm for a guy's size, but is historically accurate? Does that overcome it, or does that
he's got a
lack
good
of arm
sense
strength
of
get him?
Timing, I think, and trajectory and those kind of things. But how often we'll be able to get out of the pocket and really see what's going on. The players aren't getting any smaller. And can he make throws from the pocket consistently to win in the NFL? I think that's the question a lot of GMs are going to ask.
And I know. I mean, I watched their game against Texas. I watched most of their games on TV. And, I mean, when I say a guy's got to succeed, so it was encouraging to see how he played as that Alabama game went on. But he also, when the game was in any kind of doubt and it mattered the century for that organization and win some Super Bowls or get fired. It's a high risk, high reward thing. If it gets to the later stage, ticket sales and excitement and all that, but also maybe win you a Super Bowl on the high end, then I think you take it. The problem is those teams are already playoff teams, and most of them have their quarterback like a Peyton Manning or a really, really bad NFL franchise. Like, let's say the Raiders. Now, the difference is the Raiders are going to be in Vegas soon, so I guess that's a little different. But, the Raiders or the old Browns or whoever that, the Jaguars or somebody.
Needs to be worried. He's been kind of stagnant there in Miami. He's been good.
Well, I thought they were already not to worry because aren't they cutting ties with him?
Oh, I don't know.
That's what I would read. Maybe they're just thinking about it. I didn't go down the whole rabbit hole and read the article, but then you think they'll be in Vegas. I mean, but I'm saying you get the wrong team picks him. Then do you go through this whole? You have to jump through hoops again. I mean, look at every step of the way, and then with the whole transfer thing, some of it back. But hey, we're keeping some of it
clean.
It hasn't been clean at all. It's not been fun to watch. What's fun to watch is to watch Kyler Murray play football.
The other stuff,
and
has
I'm
been
assuming it's fun to watch on the diamond, but. Yeah, did you say cringeworthy? Because it has been every step of the way, and I don't think that's best for him and be happy and stick to it because I do think he can be great. I still think he has the all-star baseball player. But if he loves football more, then do it.
Yep. On the other side of the break, we got offensive line coach to talk about. You listen to Beliucci Hour Lunch live on the Zone.
24.8 horsepower tractor, loader with quick attach bucket and 5-foot shredder, now through March 31st for a cash price of only $15,800. Remember to shop additional Kubota package deals on the Liucci tractor, voted best of the Brazos since 2002. The corner of Highway 39 and OSR in Normandy, and remember, nobody beats Normandy tractor. Nobody.
Indeed knows finding the right hire takes time away from your business.
Hiring a qualified data engineer felt like a second job.
More job seekers use Indeed's job posting premium placement at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, quality standards, and usage limits apply. Additional terms online.
Hi, this is Jonathan with Bottom Line Bookkeeping. The Tax Cut and Jobs Act will affect your tax return this year, whether you are a business or an individual.
And I'm Debbie, and we want to remind you to get all of your stuff ready. Last year's taxes.
It gives you more time to gather necessary information that could increase the amount you get back for a maximum refund.
Some questions you might ask yourself. Did you start a new business last?
These milestones will mean for your taxes this year and next year. Another reason why you should call award-winning Bottom Line Bookkeeping to be your tax professional.
Let us schedule your appointment early to get your taxes done. At Bottom Line Bookkeeping, you are more than just a number to us. Call 691-2345 today.
And we also want to take this time to thank you for voting Bottom Line Bookkeeping Best of the Brazos for the last 14 years.
On Sports Talk, Chip recently visited with Bizarre Foods host Andrew Zimmer, who talked about some of the worst food he's tried.
All the rotted and ammoniated food that is around the world, born out of necessity, and that's always, in general, the hardest stuff to get used to. But most of it is actually quite delicious once someone's grandmother makes it the right way.
Sports Talk, a James Beard Award winner. Weekdays from 4 to 6 on Sports Radio 1150 in the Zone 102.7 FM.
Beliucci Hour Lunch. Ron Brauninger, Billy Liucci with you as Luch steps away. We got, want to say, passing out Valentine's cupcakes. And, of course, Luch got the one that said, I love you. That's very sweet of you, Tipton. Very, very sweet. You're welcome. Any comment on?
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Over the weekend,
although
Billy,
the fact that I started sneezing like 50 times.
He's a hypochondriac.
Did I say something that bad? This is bad. I don't even want to tell. I'm going to tell the quick version of the story. And it was all written in Spanish, powder, and like an old makeup thing. And I said, or sure, she just saw the powder. And I made like a joke that like, dude, some long story short, my joke, she ends up at the police station here and calls me and says that her dad thinks I should ride with her. She need, in case. And she's like, come look at the package. And I'm like, I'm not coming to look at the package. If it's got something in it, I'm not going to. Yeah. You want me to breathe in it too? I've seen too many episodes of 24 and, these CSI, shows. Yeah, I'm like, I'm not. So she literally brings this thing, and then she texts me and says, it says something about this guy is coming after you back, or I'm never going to leave you.
How long ago?
Back to some woman going just fine, and then you get this mysterious package from this woman in Portugal, and it's all over. It's just crazy how it worked. She didn't take the humor of it.
Well, I don't think I would have if you'd have KBTX
but
out there.
Long story short, again, I made a long story long. You know what it ended up being? In Spanish, and I don't know who was translating it for.
It was probably in Portuguese.
Portuguese, yeah, I'm sure it was since it was from Portugal. You're right. It wasn't from Spain.
Clip that.
Interpreted it to like this guy talking money, and she said, this is all that's left of my makeup, and it broke. Can you please send me more? So all of that because someone sent some nice woman police station.
You've convinced
I told her, I'm
yourself
like,
that
you're lucky it was a Sunday night. They had probably not a lot going on.
You're lucky that it you figured out a way to absolve yourself.
Jimmy Wright's just in shock over here at this story. No. He's stunned.
You were all right. A&M got a new offensive line coach.
You know what? Yeah, let's talk about it again since I just talked about it. I'd rather tell more Portuguese man-of-war stories.
They didn't hear it. And listen, they got it right. They brought John Billy's talking.
What do you mean on the phone?
They had it on one of them knows how to use the internet down there, and he brought it up. to me, and it's like, is this the guy?
Well, because it was all over TexAgs and all over the internet.
We could pay him like it's another fantastic hire, and you knew it was going to be by Jimbo Fisher. He's making a habit out of it.
I'm telling you, and I said this on the show, he checked the state from people that have coached against him and from Texas high school coaches that he's recruited their high schools level. And this one checks all the boxes. And what I really like are two things. You love the fact that an O-line coach that had Gaines Murphy, it was both other. I just think when it comes to future OC and a fast riser in the profession, so him, but in the backgrounds of Henson and Daryl Dickey and their familiarity with the one that actually coordinates the game plan, and in this case it'll still be Jimbo, but he's going to get it and be able to
he doesn't have a relationship with, or they don't fit his style, what he wants. So you got 4 committed. It's safe to say that those aren't the 4 that he'll sign.
Yeah, but there's no need to even do that yet because the guy's getting here tonight.
Yeah.
So you got to let him recruiting thing goes. Howell posted a note of the relationship he and Chad Lindbergh have. Mm-hmm. Number 1 lineman. He might look at Jalen Garth and say, that's the guy I want more than anybody. Or it might be Damian George or Lindbergh. Or he might see a guy like Akinola or Smart and say, oh, I love them at Oak State, and here's why. Yeah. This is what, so there's no telling where it'll go or who they'll
Okay. All right.
I'm really only doing that because we just did it. If you can't, we'll do it.
No,
we'll do a short version.
All right, on the other side of the break, we'll talk a little Kellen Mond. Listen to Beliucci Hour Lunch live on the Zone.
From News Talk 1620 WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on Sports Radio 1150 and the Zone 102.7 FM. Retired local insurance Southwest conferences.
Trying to have enough empathy to look at it from the player standpoint and the coach's standpoint. I think that's what makes it work and makes the officials and the guys get along well together.
Cashin was the referee in Super Bowls 20 and 30 as part of a 25-day morning at that was part of Representative John Rainey's week.
Has some money and use the interest on.
Rainey of military veterans attending state universities for free under the Hazelwood Act. If you have business with College Station's municipal court or Brazos County Justices of the Peace, you can avoid a $50 warrant fee. College Station Municipal Judge Ed.
Before spring break, officers.
WTAW's Infomaniac Spillane says they clear around 400 cases during the amnesty period. I'm Chelsea Reber on Sports Radio 1150 and the Zone 102.7 FM.
Matched experience. Our state-of-the-art facilities will get you the most effective treatment, period. Plus, we accept all major private insurance carriers for your convenience. For more, call 213-57.
Folks are always looking for a place to tap on her salads, chicken tenders, nachos, and more are sure to satisfy whatever craving you have. And being in SEC country, the Tap is a great place to meet before
12:35 Monday afternoon. Thank you guys for kicking off your week with us here on the Beliucci Hour Lunch, live from the Tap on Harvey Road. Monday nights on this same stage, karaoke. Wednesday nights, piano bar. Always something fun going on here at the Tap. Luch, she wrote, it was really accurate. And here's my thing, is if you want to call Sam Ehlinger a Heisman contender going into the next year, I think
Georgia, damn it. And he beat Georgia, who finished ranked below LSU and who lost to LSU. Where still has to prove.
Yeah.
But if you like you said, if you're going to put that guy in, and if you're going to put Jake Fromm in the discussion, look, Jake Fromm, when he's bad games last year were worse than they get so hung up on I'll be happy. Then you don't know jack, what about football. If every game he played you wanted him bench, like I like everyone else has been so conditioned by this message board rhetoric bullcrap and other beat writers that don't think like he's the long-term answer. Well, I do, which that's fine, a difference of opinion. I do happen to think so, and I think people were so conditioned that after that ball, it was like a perfect game for A&M, right? On every level. It's like a game could not have gone more perfectly. And we're doing the lead-in to the post-game show, and Gabe says we're going through Travion Williams did this, and the defense only allowed one touchdown. It's the way people view Kellen and have been conditioned to view him. Well, and you had a quarterback that picked himself up off the mat and finished with a pretty good game. Well, him down on the mat was a stretch. So at the end of the first half, you had a guy that threw 2 passes, I think, in the second half. He was on pace for like a 460-yard, 4-touchdown passes. During regulation, he only had 3 touchdown passes without a turnover against LSU. He only clutch moment of that any quarterback 9 yards back in the end zone into it. I mean, but people literally would say, including Hunter, well, I don't know. He just makes those stupid turnovers. Well, he didn't make turnovers all year out of his 12. Fumble against Ole Miss, interception against Auburn. There was another fumble there that was pretty disastrous, but not many. I mean, in a 13-game season, there's like 4 of them. The other ones are normal within the flow of the game against
the Kentucky.
Yeah. Normal within the flow of the game against SEC. Focus on the bad and not the good, because there is so much more good, and there's as much good in college football. There's as much good to talk about with him as there is anyone outside of, Tua and Trevor Lawrence. And the thing about Tua against LSU, Clemson, and Lawrence wasn't playing. Well, he out. Just like all of you did, giving Kelly Bryant credit because he had, and then you go, Kellen's receivers made amazing plays in that game. Well, hell yeah, they did. Did you not? Sam Ehlinger get bailed out time and time and time again by Lil Jordan Humphrey and Jones.
Colin Johnson.
I would say Caleb Jones plays. You have trust and confidence in him. The double standard with which this guy is judged is insane to me, especially when you go back and compare sophomore seasons in the Manziel, maybe Ed Hargett, maybe Kevin Murray, maybe Bucky. On top of that, it was still one of the better seasons in the SEC.
What if it was better than Reggie's?
Reggie had a second-team All-Big 12 pick behind the Heisman winner and Jason White. I think that was his. It was his. I guarantee it was better than Vince Young's sophomore year in Austin, because he didn't almost get benched in one game. He did get benched in multiple games. By Chance Mock. Young quarterbacks in college football. He's entering his second year in a very tough yet quarterback-centric Jimbo Fisher system. And, man, I just think people are sleeping on the fact of how good this guy could be. And that's me saying it knowing, like, I know the nitpicks, and I know there's truth to him.
Mm-hmm.
He's far from the perfect QB. How much better he got from freshman to sophomore, and how much better he got from start of season to end, then you're freaking nuts. Everything comes to him, and just how, like, catch it, get rid of the ball. Well, no, or Kyler. Well, Kyler was a fourth-year guy. Kyler was a fourth-year guy, not a second-year guy.
In the same system.
In the same system, really, for at least the last 2 years anyway. It's not. You had a guy that got more and more comfortable in Jimbo Fisher's offense, which is a difficult offense for a first-year quarterback to learn. And you saw what happened when he got comfortable. Was he perfect? No. But 13 or 14 touchdowns to 1 pick since the time he threw that pick against Ole Miss. Pretty damn good. And if you go back to that game, I challenge anyone that really wants to watch, and go watch Ole Miss, UAB, because I thought he struggled against Mississippi State and Auburn, but a lot of people struggled against Mississippi State this year. Actually, every quarterback that played against them.
There was a lot of elements of A&M's team that struggled against Mississippi State.
Yeah, that too. But that was a rough patch for him in the offense, with the exception of Travion against Auburn. And then it all came together. And part of it was that Travion started running for 200 yards a game. The UAB, LSU, and NC State. And watch good throws versus bad. Watch some of the perfect strikes they threw. Watch what was going on in clutching to one really, or not, I guess not overtime because he was not perfect in between. I don't understand the fine-tooth comb people are trying to hit this guy with because I think it's
on the side of he is the next Heisman contender.
Well, I mean, like, you don't even have to do that. I'm just saying, like, you don't have to. No one's saying bury your head in the sand and say he's going to be a high. No one. You don't have to sit there and go, man, this is the greatest quarterback I've ever seen. Or it's the best quarterback in the SEC. Or you don't have to say it's better than Jake Fromm. You could say, man, I think someone else is going to come up and do with me, or you don't, but you know what I'm talking about, and you know what you're doing, and you know you are ignoring. When have we become where we require a Heisman Trophy or first team All-SEC, a very, very, very vocal minority in this thing? This thing could be.
On the other side of the break, we'll
That's
close
it
the
for
show.
my off-season Kellen rants, because now I'm just talking about him. He's the starter. It's going to be, I think, a hell of a junior season for him if they can get that running game that they need to replace in Jace and not just Travion, but just the ground game in general. But guess what Jimbo Fisher's offenses do? They have tight ends that make plays in the passing game. And
Folks are always looking. Harvey Road has been the place to do just that for nearly 30 years. A casual atmosphere and tasty food keeps people. Salads, chicken tenders, nachos, and more are sure to satisfy whatever craving you have. And being in SEC country, the Tap is a great place to meet before, during, or after the game.
System is daunting. You need an experienced defense lawyer to obtain the best results for you. Steve Gustitis, attorney at law, has been helping people fight criminal charges for over 20 years. Call Steve Gustitis now to schedule your free consultation. 823-9111. Qualified people are ready to take your call. Let Steve Gustitis put his experience to work for you. 823-9111. Visit GustitisLaw.com today and get the help that you need. Everyone makes mistakes. Mistakes can land you on the wrong side of the law. If so, you need someone on your side. Steve Gustitis, attorney at law, has over 20 years' experience fighting felony and misdemeanor charges. Steve Gustitis will fight for you. Call now to set up your free consultation. 823-9111. Qualified people are ready to take your call. Call 823-9111 or visit GustitisLaw.com to see how Steve Gustitis can put the law on your side.
Sarcoma. Odds are you've never heard that word. Cancer. Through awareness, advocacy, and research, the Sarcoma Foundation of America is bringing hope to the families whose lives have been turned upside down by a cancer they had never heard of until diagnosis. Please join us in the fight to find the cure for sarcoma. For more information on the work of the Sarcoma Foundation of America, go to curesarcoma.org.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
The Zone's not just on your radio, it's everywhere. We're talking all the social media platforms. Follow us on Twitter at Zone1150, Facebook at Facebook.com/Zone1150, and Instagram at Zone1150. Hey, we've even got our own YouTube page for things like the Beliucci Hour and live broadcast. It's Sports Radio The Zone 1150. Big Brother is everywhere. He's watching, and so are we. Follow The Zone on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube today.
Got some questions from here at the Tap. Liucci, what kind of year did Manziel have? What's his outlook for next year?
I think he got better as the year went on. I mean, it was pretty. That O-line was atrocious up there in Montreal. I mean, horrific, historically bad. And I don't even know the history of the CFL. I just know it was one of the worst O-lines I've ever seen in organized football. So hopefully Sherman can Sherman that O-line and get it to where he typically has gotten O-lines. But If not, it's kind of hard for a quarterback, even in the wide-open CFL. But it seemed like he was really getting the respect of the opposing defenders in that league. If you follow them, like what guys were saying about him on Twitter after they played, and I was waiting to see how long Brauninger reacted. When you look at how guys were reacting and stuff, it was pretty. He was just in. You guys that are listening, he was in some kind of extreme daze, and I was waiting to see if he was going to snap out of it. But he had a good season and could have. I think
talking about me
now and right now, like to see him excel in Canada and maybe get a chance to sign a 4 or 5 year deal in that league and make what would be. Wakes up and needs a backup one day. I mean, or maybe Josh Rosen, after a year, they realize he's not the guy. And I would say in Tempe, whatever. Never rule that out. But I still think I like the strides he made. Not clear on the first part about the Missouri. That was internet lore breaking out again. Everybody assuming things. Same thing with Jay Graham to Tennessee. I think, and they want him. And guess what? A&M and Jimbo want him too, and I want him too. And I heard some very encouraging stuff on play out that way. But you got good coaches. You got good coaches in demand. Look at Elko. Look at Jay Graham. And I think it would be a huge fed at him, and another guy gets a head. And if they both stayed, that'd be pretty impressive. So that part, the first part. Was about what now?
Missouri.
The first part was Missouri. The Braden Mowry thing gives them one spot for a grad transfer if they want it, but it's only one. Saw Patterson. They had an extended, dark clouds over them, then a big probation. This is 1 year, and if you're a senior and you've got teammates, you're missing one game, a bowl game. The portal, they're looking to see if there is a grad transfer out there that can help them win football games next year. I think got second team All-SEC safety from Lancaster, a linebacker that we just discussed. Terrible addition. You got guys, but 2 of your 3 are true freshmen, and one of them hadn't played much. I think interior O-line is significant to have a veteran in there that's good to plug in for like an Eric McCoy. We talked about the importance of that running game, and I think they could use it, but I would think it more specific.
For every job, there's a Kubota for every
see you guys
harvest.
on Thursday.
There's a Kubota for every task. And in Normandy Tractor, for a limited time only, take the drive to Normandy, our tractor.